Welcome friends to Physics in 20 minutes. In this and next video we are going to have a short introduction to calculus, that is to derivative and integration. In this video we are going to talk about derivative as a rate measurer, derivative formulae, maxima and minima. So what is derivative? Derivative measures the instantaneous rate of change. In the history, for a long time, intellectuals struggle to find out the rate of change of quantity at a given instant. It was only in 17th century this technique got developed, largely due to the effort of Newton and Leibniz. Let's try to learn some of these techniques. We will first look at the slope of a function. Let's have our axis, x and y axis. They are perpendicular to each other. Y is a function of x. And let's take a very simple function, a straight line. Now I want to find the slope of this straight line at a point A. Its x coordinate is x and y coordinate is f of x. Since it's a straight line, the slope will be same everywhere. So we can choose another point B arbitrarily on the line in a way that its x coordinate differs from x by an amount delta x. Therefore, its y coordinate will be a function of x plus delta x. The difference in the x coordinate of A and B will be delta x, while let us call the difference in the y coordinate as delta y. The slope of the line is given as the rate of change of y with respect to x. Therefore, the slope is change in y upon change in x. Change in y is f of x plus delta x minus f of x, but the numerator from the diagram you can see can be written as delta y, so it will be delta y upon delta x. If theta is the angle between the straight line and the horizontal, then in that case tan theta is side opposite upon adjacent, which is delta y upon delta x. A straight line has the same slope at all the points, so calculating slope is easy. What will happen if instead of a straight line, if we have a curve? If I use the same formula to calculate the slope between A and B, it will not give you the slope of the curve between A and B. Instead, it will give you the slope of the straight line, which is represented by red color. The slope of the curve between A and B is not same. At point A, the line is steeper, while at point B the line is less steep. So the slope is a variable slope. Obviously, we cannot apply these formulae in the same form to find the slope of the curve at any point. One of the ways to modify this formula is to reduce the x interval between A and B. So if we reduce the interval between A and B, that is if we reduce delta x, then you can see that the red straight line and the curved line, they almost coincide and they both almost have the same slope. This technique will become better and better if delta x tends to 0. Therefore, I can find the slope at point x by taking the limit of delta x to 0 of the previous equation. Slope here will be equal to limit delta x tends to 0, f of x plus delta x minus f of x upon delta x. As delta x tends to 0, delta x will become infinitesimally small. We can replace it by dx. If my delta x tends to 0, obviously delta y will also be very small, and even that will be replaced by dy, which is infinitesimally small change in y. Therefore, the slope, instead of writing as delta y upon delta x, can now be written as dy by dx, which is called as derivative of y with respect to x. That defines derivative for us. If y is a function of x, then rate of change of y with respect to x is given by dy by dx, which is limit of delta x tends to 0, f of x plus delta x minus f of x upon delta x. It is also referred as derivative of y with respect to x. This is the first principle of derivative, and we can use this principle to find derivative of any function. What are the properties of derivatives? So if you want to find a small change in y, that can be written as rate of change of y into small change in x. Delta y can approximately be equal to dy by dx into delta x. Here dy by dx is the rate of change of y with respect to x. If y is increasing as x increases, if y is decreasing as x increases, then dy by dx is negative. Let's take an exercise to understand these concepts. If y is equal to x square, find dy by dx. At this point, you may take a pause, try to solve the problem on your own and come back and check the solution. Solution goes as follows. Let f of x is equal to y, which is equal to x square. F of x plus delta x is x plus delta x the whole square, which after expansion will give x square plus 2x delta x plus delta x square. Therefore, f of x plus delta x minus fx upon delta x is equal to x square plus 2x delta x plus delta x square minus x square upon delta x. X square minus x square will cancel off. You get 2x delta x plus delta x square upon delta x. If you take the limit of delta x to 0, then delta x is very small quantity and delta x square can be neglected. Therefore, in the limit of delta x tending to 0, it will become 2x delta x upon delta x, which is equal to 2x. Therefore, derivative of x square is 2x. Let's take another exercise. Y is equal to sin x, find dy by dx. So it's a very straightforward calculation once again. If you want, you can pause the video, solve the problem on your own and come back and check the solution. Here goes the solution. Let f of x be equal to sin x. F of x plus delta x is sin x plus delta x. After expansion, you get sin x cos delta x plus sin delta x cos x. Therefore, f of x plus delta x minus fx upon delta x is equal to sin x cos delta x plus sin delta x cos x minus sin x upon delta x. Now, since we have to take the limit of delta x to 0, cos delta x will tend to 1, sin delta x will tend to delta x. Therefore, limit of delta x tends to 0, f of x plus delta x minus f of x upon delta x will be equal to delta x cos x upon delta x, which is equal to cos x. Therefore, if function is sin x, its derivative is cos x. We can look at the derivative of some of the common functions. If the function is x power n, it will be n x power n minus 1. If it is sin x, then the derivative is cos x. For cos x, derivative is minus sin x. One can check it in this way we have established. For tan x, derivative is sec square x. For cot x, derivative is minus cos x square x. For sec x, derivative is sec x tan x. Cosec x, derivative is minus cosec x cot x. Natural log of x, ln x, derivative is 1 over x. E power x or exponential function, derivative is e power x. Here are some rules for the derivative of composite functions. They are very important. dy dx of a constant multiplied to a function is constant into derivative of the function. So dy dx of cy is c into dy by dx. Derivative is distributive. d by dx of u plus v is equal to du upon dx plus dv by dx. Product function, d by dx of u into v is v into du by dx plus u into dv by dx. Division, d by dx of u by v is equal to v into du by dx minus u into dv by dx whole divided by v square. And finally the chain rule, if y is a function of both x and u, then dy by dx is dy by du into du by dx. Let's take an exercise to see how we can use this formula to solve the problems quickly. If y is equal to e power x cos x, find dy by dx. If you want to solve the problem on your own, take a pause, solve the problem and come back and check the solution. Here goes the solution. By taking derivative, you get dy by dx is equal to d by dx of e power x cos x. Now it's a product of two functions, so you can apply u into v rule. So it will be e power x d by dx cos x plus cos x d by dx of e power x. Now, what is the derivative of cos x? It's minus sin x. Derivative of e power x is e power x. Therefore, e power x into minus sin x plus cos x into e power x. I can take e power x common, so it will become e power x cos x minus sin x. The slope of a line depends on the angle that it makes with the x-axis. Let's take this line shown in yellow. It's horizontal, it's parallel to x-axis in the diagram. It makes an angle theta of 0 degree with the x-axis. Delta x will of course be positive, but since its delta y is 0, the slope will be 0. What will happen if the line makes some angle with the x-axis? So if the line makes any angle with the x-axis which is greater than 0 but less than 90, in this case delta y and delta x both will be positive for this line, and therefore slope will be positive, it will be greater than 0. Any line which is oriented in this manner, whose angle with the x-axis is greater than 0 but less than 90, will have a positive slope. A vertical line, a line which makes an angle of 90 degree with the x-axis. In this case, although delta y will be some positive value, delta x will be 0. The slope of this such a line is mathematically not defined, or you can also consider it as infinite. What will happen if the line makes an angle greater than 90 but less than 180? Now for such a line, delta y is positive but delta x is negative. Therefore, the slope of such line is negative. Any line which makes an angle with x-axis greater than 90 degree but less than 180 degree will have a negative slope. These ideas are going to help us for the next topic, which is the topic of maxima and minima. Look at this curve in the graph. It's a curve which has a maximum point and which has a minimum point. At the highest point the line is horizontal, the slope is 0, and at the lowest point in the minimum, line is horizontal, slope is 0. So at maximum and minimum, since the slope is 0, the first derivative must vanish. Therefore, dy by dx has to be equal to 0. For both maxima and minima, the slope will be 0 and the first derivative will be 0. How do we distinguish between the maxima and minima? So let's have a closer look at them. So at maxima, you will find that at the highest point, the curve is horizontal momentarily and the slope is 0. Slightly ahead of that point, you will find that the line tilts towards the right side and the slope is negative, as we have discussed earlier. So at the maximum, the slope decreases with increase in x. Therefore, the rate of change of slope with respect to x is negative. Therefore, the derivative of the slope, which can also be written as d2y by dx square, is negative, less than 0. Whenever the second order derivative of an extremum is negative or less than 0, at that point is a maxima. What happens at the minima? Let's have a closer look at the minima point. At the minima point, the slope is 0. As you move slightly ahead of the minima point, you will find that the line tilts in an upward direction and it gets a positive slope. Therefore, at minimum, the slope increases with the increase in x. Therefore, the rate of change of slope is positive. Therefore, the second order derivative or the derivative of the slope d2y by dx square is greater than 0 or positive. Such an extremum point where the second order derivative is positive will always be a minimum point. Let's take an example to understand this concept. We have a function y is equal to x square minus x plus 2. Find the value of x for which y becomes a maximum or minimum. Identify which case it is. So, if you want to solve the problem on your own, pause the video, solve the problem and come back and check the solution. Here goes the solution. Y is x square minus x plus 2. Its first derivative d by dx will give you 2x minus 1. To decide maxima or minima, we must equate the first derivative to 0. So 2x minus 1 is 0. that gives you x is equal to 1 by 2. So we get an extremum at x is equal to 1 by 2. Whether it's a maxima or minima, let's decide that. So we take another derivative of the function. So we get d2y by dx square, which is equal to d by dx of dy by dx, which is equal to d by dx of 2x minus 1, and this will give you 2. Since d2y by dx square is greater than 0, the point x is equal to 1 by 2 is a minima point. Here are some of the activity problems for you to solve. Please go through them. Here are the answers to the activity problems. Thank you.